Hi everyone, Dan here. Now, normally I like to have a little fun pointing out issues and double standards that men face in today's society, but in this video, I want to get a little bit more serious than I normally am. I posted what I'm going to talk about as a topic for discussion on my community pages the other day, and I have to say, I was overwhelmed by the number of responses that I got from men sharing their stories and experiences, and I thought it important to make a video about it since it is such an important topic. What is it I'm talking about? The inequality that men are facing in today's workplace. It's something that is usually overlooked in discussions about workplace equality. Men are being discriminated against in the workplace, often overtly, and it's why men are leaving the workforce in droves. Current estimates are that over 7 million men have left the workforce, and it's creating huge shortages in critical areas. Police, fire, construction, even education, for example, are seeing massive shortages, with many organizations having dozens of positions open that they cannot fill. Now, this isn't a new phenomenon, but it has exploded in recent years, especially since the pandemic. Workforce participation by men of prime working age has dropped from over 97% in 1950 to just under 89.7% this year. And predictions are that drop is only going to increase. Yet despite the data, despite the reality that one of the biggest drivers of this mass exodus is mistreatment and discrimination against men in the workforce, no one wants to address it. Hell, they don't even want to talk about it. Having worked at a high level in management for many years myself before I retired, I can tell you it was never a topic of discussion amongst the corporate bigwigs. Recently, I talked to a couple of friends who are executives in HR who told me not only is it not being talked about, if they even try and bring it up, they get told to stop because companies live in fear of the backlash they might face if it is perceived that they are anti-woman. Let's face it, in today's corporate world, there's a strong emphasis on supporting women, which I do think in some ways is essential and overdue. However, this focus has become so one-sided that it hides the fact that many men are also experiencing discrimination or bias, and that their struggles are often dismissed or completely ignored, even when the companies know full well that they do indeed exist. Let's be honest, in today's world, many companies are eager to show their commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, often to score DEI points or improve their social credit score. And in doing so, they sometimes implement policies that even they know are outright discriminatory towards men. And they're allowed to do this because even the government is involved in these very same practices. Just look at many of the requirements that are listed for certain government jobs, where they outright state they give preferential treatment to female candidates. Hell, they'll often change certain mandatory requirements to make it easier for women to meet them. Last I checked, carrying someone out of a burning building requires the strength and ability to do so. And while reducing the requirements on paper may seem the right thing to do so that more women will apply, when you're a 135-pound woman who has to, say, carry out a 200-pound man out of a burning building, well, let's just say biology is going to rear its ugly head. Men are frequently told to stop complaining or to man up when they voice their concerns. Worse still, speaking up can, and more often than not actually has, serious consequences for the man's career. A man who dares to speak up will be labeled a troublemaker, not a team player, or worse, anti-woman. He'll be shunned or ignored by management at best, and it's not uncommon that he'll be blacklisted from promotions and even raises at worst, all because he dared to speak up about the inequalities he faced. The truth of the matter is, in today's corporate environment, women are encouraged, indeed rewarded, for coming forward to speak up about the inequalities that they face. Men, on the other hand, well, they know they'll pay a price if they do, a very steep price. This dismissive attitude doesn't just silence valid struggles, it also reinforces harmful stereotypes that men should simply endure their challenges without seeking support. That while it's okay for women to speak up about the unfairness they face, men, not so much. Which is why I said in my post that it's time we peel back the curtain and start listening to men. It's time we encourage men to share their stories. And oh boy, did they. Dozens and dozens of men shared their experiences of how they were discriminated against in their jobs. And perhaps even more interestingly, how rampant harassment of men by women is in today's workplace. And how corporations not only aren't addressing it, but trying to hide it. It's a silent epidemic, and it needs to stop. Workplace equality should mean equality for everyone, not just women. Men deserve the same support, understanding, and fairness that is often highlighted for other groups. And let's be clear here, since I know women are going to do as they always try and do, and twist and make this about them. This isn't about diminishing anyone else's struggles. Addressing the issues that men face takes nothing away from addressing the issues women face. And to say it does is nothing more than an attempt to dismiss those issues and deflect conversation away from them. It's about time that we as a society, as well as the corporate environment, acknowledge that men too face unique challenges, ones that do need to be part of a broader conversation on workplace equity. It's time we brought to light the hidden discrimination built into so many corporate policies in the interests of DEI or getting that social credit. And if you're a man who has or is facing discrimination, I cannot encourage you enough to speak up. Yes, it may come back to bite you. Yes, it may affect your career in some ways. But I hate to break it to you, my friend, but not speaking up already has. So if you've ever experienced discrimination or bias in the workplace, if you've ever felt pressure to stay silent about workplace issues out of fear of consequences or retribution, if you've been passed over for a promotion or faced unfair expectations simply because of your gender, or if, as I faced many years ago, you've been forced to endure harassment training, ones where every example involved a male harassing a female, and then when you voiced your concerns about that, got called into HR for a serious discussion about my attitude issues, you need to speak up. Because until we do, nothing will change. These experiences that men face are real, very real, and they deserve to be talked about, acknowledged, and addressed. Your voice matters, my friends, and only by speaking out and working together can we challenge the bias, break down the stereotypes, and create a workplace where everyone's struggles are heard and respected. All right, that's it for now. Thanks for listening, and feel free to share your experiences in the comments. Let's support each other and work towards a workplace where equality truly means equality for everyone. And hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming discussions. Together, we can make a difference.